What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Romero versus Ismael Barroso, and this was a 12-rounder for the vacant WBA Super Lightweight World Championship. And this fight was Saturday, May 13th, from the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this fight was broadcasted on Showtime. And in this fight, Ismael Barroso got robbed. This was one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen in my lifetime of watching boxing. It was a disgusting stoppage. Romero became the new WBA Super Lightweight Champion, stopping Ismael Barroso in an awful manner in the 9th round. So leading up to the stoppage, I had this bout scored 78-73 in favor of Ismael Barroso. I thought Barroso was taking the fight to Rolly. Rolly wasn't doing much. He got dropped early. And I thought he was just not doing much at all. He was getting caught with left hands left and right. So just to break this fight down round by round, the first round was more of a feel-out round. I just edged it to Barroso. In my opinion, could have went either way. However, rounds 2 and 3 were big rounds for Barroso. Round 2, Barroso started going with huge left hands going forward, specifically body shots. But then in the third round, Ismael Barroso landed a big left hand when Rolly Romero was going back and backtracking. That big left hand landed, and then Rolly Romero went down into the ropes behind him. Then in the fourth round, I gave that one to Rolly Romero. He started landing a bit better shots on the outside. Then in the fifth round, I gave it to Rolly Romero as well. He was landing some nice counters again when Barroso was coming forward. Then in the sixth round, Rolly really started to run from Barroso, and Barroso started to land big left hands. Same in the seventh round. Barroso was the one pressing coming forward, and Rolly Romero was on the one backtracking and sort of running and not really doing much back and getting hit with left to the body. Then in round number 8, I also gave it to Barroso, was going with left hands, firing him off to the head, to the body. It was a very good round from Barroso. Then in the ninth round, they were both exchanging. Barroso landed a left hand, but then Rolly caught him with a right hook that sort of backed him up. Then Rolly jumped on Barroso, going with a barrage of punches that seemed like he had him hurt. And then he went with I believe it was a right hand, and sort of pushed his face down to the canvas. I mean, it was kind of a close call. I might have to watch it again, but from watching it when it happened, I thought it was a push down. I thought it was not a knockdown, but the referee called it a knockdown. And then when Barroso got up, they were exchanging. And I'm not saying that Barroso was hurt and then Rolly was jumping on him, hitting with big shots, and Barroso wasn't defending himself. Barroso didn't even really look hurt from that supposed knockdown. But Rolly was jumping on him and throwing shots, but Barroso was moving, backing up, throwing counter shots back, landing some counter shots on Rolly, and they were exchanging. It was a very exciting round. It was like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. They were both landing good shots on each other. But then out of nowhere, when it seems like both of them are actually doing well, and it seemed like Barroso was fully recovered from whatever shot that he got hit with before, and he was actually landing some shots on Rolly, the referee just jumps in, just randomly, and stops the fight. That might be like I said before, it's probably the worst stoppage I've ever seen. Absolutely terrible. Terrible. I mean, it's disgusting how they stopped this fight. I mean, I do really wonder how the judges did have it scored, because as of now, I have not seen the actual official judges scoring of this fight, but I would imagine since Barroso was such an underdog and that he was taking this fight to Rolly, dropped him, and was winning, I would imagine that they would probably have had it either really, really close or had it in favor of Rolly based on Rolly's track record, especially when he fought Jackson Marinez, when he pretty much got outboxed and then they gave him the fight. But if you did watch this fight, comment down below your thoughts on it. And this goes in the question, what is next for Rolly Romero? So he is now the WBA World Champion somehow. He was supposed to fight Alberto Puello, but Puello got popped for PEDs, I believe it was. So, I mean, if Puello is able to get back into the ring and face Rolly, they'll probably do that next between Rolly and Puello for the WBA title. But, I mean, I really do think they should be giving Ismael Barroso a rematch. He was winning this fight, clearly, in my opinion, clearly beating Rolly at his own game. I mean, he was pressuring Rolly, hitting with big left hands, but I mean, definitely think they should have a rematch because of how Barroso was beating him, but I mean, they probably won't do a rematch based on how Barroso was a late replacement and how he's 40 years old. So, I mean, those are the two main factors, and how he isn't much of a draw. But those are definitely the two options I think could be next for Rolly Romero. But as for Ismael Barroso, for him, obviously a rematch could be on the table. Who knows? But like I said, it could be tough considering he was such a heavy B side in this fight. But if not for a rematch, I could definitely see him being a bit inactive like he was going into this fight. He wasn't really that active against the top tier competition. I could see him being slightly inactive before maybe getting called up to face a decent level fighter in the 140-pound division in his next couple fights, maybe in the next year or two. So overall, Rolly Romero gets a very undeserving stoppage victory over Ismael Barroso. When he was losing the fight, got dropped. Referee Tony Weeks stepped in prematurely, extremely prematurely, and waved the fight off in Rolly's favor. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.